Welcome back to Branching Out. We are going to talk about developing today.
Ooh, one of my favorite topics.
Yes, I know.
I love it.
And I don't know if you all know out there, but Branch Wealth Partners has a sister company called McAllister Creek Development, and Greg is also a partner in that as well. So we're going to dive into what that looks like from an investor standpoint.
Yeah, I love it. That I didn't know 30 years ago that I would get to the point of building houses. And so developing land and taking, kind of raw land and rub it on a little bit and making a diamond out of that piece of coal. I started out by buying apartments and other things that were the coal that I had to put pressure on and rub on to make a diamond. But it's the same kind of thing. Same kind of thing. It's like doing a rehab or a flip, except for all the way to the ground, right?
Seems easier.
It's actually more predictable and easier.
Yeah.
So let's dig into it.
Yeah.
So what would you like to know?
Well, okay. So first off, let's talk about how you got started in doing that. What led you to, because I know you didn't just jump right into that. So what led you there?
No, from an active standpoint, I feel like investors have to kind of divide their time into those active activities and the passive activities, right? And so from an active standpoint, outside of just the buy, renovate, rent type activities, I would do flips like a lot of people do. And, but what frustrated me about the flips was that predictability of inventory. When's the next deal coming? How can I scale? All those kind of questions that as a beginning flipper, we kind of run into. And then also every house was different. And as an engineer, I'm like, we got to change this. I mean, how do we do something different? So it's more like manufacturing. How do we do it so that it's more predictable? We can be standardized materials, all that kind of stuff, get a little more buying power. And so eventually we just transitioned into building. And with the economy, about the time we did that, the economy was getting stronger and there were fewer opportunities on the flip side. So fewer motivated sellers, all that kind of thing. So, and real estate's very cyclical. So it might be that over time I'll come out of building and do more flips. I don't know. I mean, we don't know what tomorrow will bring. So yeah, good stuff. It's an option.
Yeah,
we keep it open.
Yep,
for
sure.
Keep it in a toolbox.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the ways that investors work with McAllister Creek and Branch together.
Yeah.
So I guess the first scenario, let's talk about if you have your own lot, what can McAllister Creek do with that?
Yeah. So if you have your own lot and it's a lot of record, or even if this is raw land and it's one big parcel, McAllister can come in and help you get what we call entitlements. So we could help you subdivide that land. Right? We can help you get it correctly zoned and kind of walk through all those processes. Or if it's just an individual building lot, let's go build us a house, man. Let's go do that. So building houses, duplexes, triplexes, all those kind of things, the small multifamilies, very, very much in our wheelhouse. And then our investor partners can then turn around and either rent those out and keep them, rent them and sell them, or sell them as an unoccupied unit, brand new, out into the market. And that way everybody gets to share in that.
Okay. So what kind of product is McAllister Creek building? So
typically we have multiple blocks of product. We have kind of that small investor product. It's even a 2-2. It's like 900 square feet, right? Real small investor grade product. And we have a class of 1,200 foot products, 1,200 square feet, 3 2s. Those are great for investor grade, entry level home buyers type things. And then we have larger product, not monstrous, but we'll get up to 1,800 to 2,000 square foot type product as well. But the 1,200, then we have a 1,400 foot class, then we kind of have that 1,800 foot class product. We typically select the neighborhood. That's how we decide, what fits in the neighborhood, what's the right price point for the buyer who would be in that neighborhood. Let's just kind of match that product. What's the size and shape of the lot? All those are choices.
Yeah. And then you also said you would do duplexes, triplexes, and quadplexes?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I know we've had an investor come through and McAllister's doing a project for them, right?
Yeah, sure enough. We're finishing up a single family home for them now, about to start a triplex for them soon. And then we have another client that we're going to do a duplex for.
Yeah.
So coming up soon. It's awesome.
Yeah. McAllister and Branch work really well together, especially for the spec homes that you build in certain markets. It cash flows really nicely for investors. So they buy the product from McAllister Creek. And then Branch Wealth Partners will property manage them.
That's correct.
So that works out really nicely.
Yeah,
too.
so that's kind of that nice marriage in the organization where Branch interfaces with a ton of investors out there, and those investors might have their own product. They might have their own lots. They might have might need extra product, whatever that is. And then McAllister can then marry up and figure out where we best play.
Mm-hmm.
So whether they just want to consult in and say, hey, we're having a meeting with Branch and we're consulting about their real estate portfolio and what they're trying to do to expand. And it just comes up, hey, we got this extra piece of land, don't know what to do with. Cool. Let me bring in my McAllister team and see if they can help us figure out what's the best fit for that.
Mm-hmm. Master plan.
Do a master plan for it, and then kind of phase it in. Or they say, hey, look, I'm looking for 3 extra houses. What do you have? And then we go to our McAllister Creek partners and go, hey, look, what do we have coming up that would kind of meet these criteria? It's a great marriage.
So, okay, let's talk about, so we said master plan. So let's talk about who else is on the team at McAllister Creek. So what all does McAllister Creek have the capabilities of doing?
So we actually have project managers and construction managers. We have folks that are very, very well versed in zoning and design and layout and all that. And then in our extended family, in our third party family, I mean, we have engineers and utility contractors and all that we would normally sub out. So if we have to do erosion plans and really get stamps of approval from official engineers and all that, we could go do. But a lot of times in-house, we'll do that initial site plan just all in-house, and then at least get it concept, and then we'll take it to the city or the municipality, and they'll start nodding their heads one way or the other, make suggestions before we even turn it over for the official engineer. But we can take things all the way through a master plan, a subdivision, and all that.
So when an investor comes to you and they have their own lot, then y'all pretty much take it from there. They don't really have to be involved if they don't want to.
No, in fact, we can even, on the Branch side, we could even list it for sale if they want to build it to sell, right? So we could keep that all in-house if we really, really wanted to, or if the client wants us to. And they could just say, here's my lot, and we'll even link them up with a construction lender who will loan the money for the construction financing, and then we'll either finish it, take it to permanent financing and place a tenant and manage it for them, or through the Branch side, or we'll finish the construction and let Branch, if they so choose to do that, to list it and sell it for them. And, we'll just call them when it's done.
Yeah. It is a really nice relationship that Branch and McAllister have.
We like to use our own plans because, hey, look, our contractors and subcontractors, they just think it's one of our houses. They don't know the difference on who owns what. So we use our own plans, our own materials. We just build it like we would build one of our own homes, and just put it in the mix.
So no custom builds.
No custom builds.
Yeah.
No. The only thing that we do that's verges on that is, hey, look, if we would normally build a duplex, maybe it's now a fourplex or something like, or if we need to twist something a little funny because of a lot shape issue or something, we might tweak a plan. But still, we'll use our own finishes and all that. Just our standard package.
Okay, cool. And then, so let's talk about another way that investors can be even less hands-off than developing.
Yeah, right.
But let's talk about the private money lending side.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
Yeah,
I like that.
That is a fun side.
So a lot of investors who even come to me, I had a guy approach me last night, in fact, at a meeting I was in, and he said, hey, Greg, I'm going to have a little money coming out of the sale of my house. I really want to sit down with you and see how I can invest it with you. So we have a team of partners of private money lenders out there that will fund projects for McAllister. And, that entry level to the passive investor, that doesn't require a whole lot of capital is the private money lender. I mean, that's really what it is. And some people will pull money out of their self-directed IRAs and be able to lend that back out and get a return, an interest rate, right, back to their IRA. Can't keep it. It goes in your IRA. And so, but they just also might have, free cash sitting around that they want to do that for. So, so we do that. So we use our private money lenders for helping us acquire future lots. Some, if they have enough capital, will allow them to finance an entire build. And it just depends on how much capital they have. Normally, in that kind of entry level, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, that's kind of that lot level. We can acquire a lot with that. but you'll need, a couple $100,000 or so to build an entire house, right?
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit more, but certainly doable. And then we, in turn, we treat them just like the bank. We give them a first position note and deed of trust. In North Carolina, that's what we do, and that gives them a first position mortgage. And so if anything should go wrong with us, they get the lot, right? So that's there, and we pay them interest. We don't catch the money. We let the attorneys handle all the money. So when we buy the lot, the money goes into the attorney's office, goes back out to the seller. And then when we either close on the construction financing and replace their money with the bank's money, then that money goes to the attorney and back out to the lender. So it's a great way to do.
For sure.
It's a great way for them to earn just passive interest. Right?
Exactly. Especially if they have a lot of capital, just sitting around doing nothing.
Need a little extra, more than a money market's going to give, right?
Yep. And they don't have the time to, flip a house or have long-term rentals or things like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
They can just loan, and it's a nice little kind of bond kind of product, just a good dividend model, right?
Yep.
Just good, simple interest, very, very simple kind of product.
For sure. I feel like it's a good entry level thing for someone who wants to get into real estate to do.
Yeah.
To just say,
take advantage of real estate investing.
Yeah.
Without having to manage tenants, toilets, and termites, any of those kind of things.
Exactly.
Right. It's wonderful.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about developing?
I always have loved watching something at the before and the after and comparing the difference. So it always just really kind of turned me on as far as like going from apartments to when I was doing the buy, renovate, rent and all that, is taking something that doesn't look great and making it look beautiful. So I think it's fun to go from a raw piece of land. And then sometimes it takes a couple years, right, to go through all the zoning and all the improvements and all that kind of stuff. Then you go
That's
vertical.
actually a good point.
And sell,
on time. So, you say it takes that long, but what's the fastest you can build a house?
Oh, well, we can go vertical, the vertical portion, and be done in about 3 months or less sometimes. And so, but for our smaller product, maybe even slightly less. And but to go from raw, like trees everywhere, and then get the rezoning done and subdivision done, all those approvals take forever. Just forever. It's terrible. But once you're ready to go vertical, it's usually 3 months or so. Yeah.
Cool.
It's awesome.
Very cool.
But I love being able to go to that and go, hey, look, this was just this way just a little while ago, and now look, these beautiful homes. People are raising their families. I love to go back a year later, right? You go back a year later, the grass has grown in, there's bicycles in the driveways, right? There, you can tell that you drive by at Christmas time and they've got the Christmas decorations out, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're making it a home, and that does me a lot of good because I go, cool, man, we built something that these people are raising their families in. They're creating memories. They're living their lives in this product, and that product will hopefully be online for years and years to come. Right? If they take care of it, it's a 100-year product. I mean, it'll last for a long time if they maintain it. So the amount of generations that can come through that house and raise their families in. I mean, that's just a lot of fun.
I mean, I've seen it down on Laundry Street in Kannapolis.
Yep.
You build a bunch. How many did you build there? 6 or 8?
6 or 7, yes.
Yeah.
And
they're all super cute. All have their American flags out front.
We do that.
Look like families live there.
Yeah.
Super cute.
That's one of our trademarks. We love to put an American flag on every home. We, I believe that hey, that's one thing that's missing in society right now. We need a little bit more patriotism, and so that's just my way to just throw it out there. And they don't have to worry about buying one. It's there. So I love that. I love to be able to go down the street and still see them flying. And my little signature on there. I love that.
I know, it's really at Magnolia, same thing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about all the projects that you have going on. So where is McAllister currently building? Well, I'll ask that question first. Where's McAllister currently building?
So, I don't know where these listeners are. So, and viewers, they might be all over the world. This world at headquarters, right? International.
Global. We're global.
So Jessica and I were joking about that a little bit earlier today. So global headquarters, but we typically build within about a 30-minute drive of our office. We feel like we want this local impact, right? And so we have an 18-unit subdivision going on in China Grove right now that we have several products out of the ground and in various stages of completion there. One's already closed, and a couple others have been under contract for. Then we have a wonderful product in Kannapolis, which is a thriving little downtown, smaller town community. It's got a beautiful baseball stadium downtown and all that, minor league. And so we have a 22-unit subdivision there that are kind of Charleston row homes with the cool little pastel Charleston colors. And so the first phase of 7 is complete. The next 6 are about to break ground here in the next, probably 30 days.
Are those going to be the single family row houses? Or?
They're going to be 2 blocks of 3 townhomes this time. And we're gonna have a rooftop deck coming out of over the top of the garage. So there'll be a beautiful large rooftop deck looking out over the greenway there. And I'm real excited about that. I'm kind of looking forward to being able to sip a cup of coffee on the rooftop deck before they sell. I tend to do that.
Yeah.
And so kind of enjoy the house while it's still mine.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I like to do that. But maybe we'll all as a team go get lunch there one day or something. Be fun. And so that's going on. And then we have another subdivision coming up in Kannapolis, a little bit further north, close to Landis, up what we call West A Street. And we're starting, I think in general, right now it's targeted for about 13 houses. The first 6, I think, are already pre-platted. And so they're ready to build. So we're getting ready to start those here next. Those are the 1,200-foot product. The Charleston-style homes are more 1,800 foot product. And the other 18-unit subdivision in China Grove, the smaller product up there is 1,400 and change, but there's some up there that'll be 18 up to 2,000 square feet.
Okay.
But up on Jack and West A Street, that's going to be the 1,200-foot product. So we would call it entry level, even though, prices of what I bought my house for, 20 some odd years ago versus what we have out there today are a little stronger, right? But they're going to be in the high 2s. Probably up there at Jack and West A. So it'll be a nice little product.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And one of our mentees actually bought the model home for Magnolia, and he's leasing that back out to. That's correct.
To us as a model home. And so if anybody would like to come see that, it's a beautiful home. Those products, quartz countertops, 10-foot high ceilings. They are just phenomenally beautiful. Almost zero lot line. There's a little small side yard, low maintenance. We put sod in it, and it's just beautiful. Walk to the ball stadium, walk to the breweries and the restaurants and all that. So it's fantastic.
It is. All right. So what is the worst part about developing?
The time, the lag time. Like if we could get approvals and everything, done a little bit sooner and kind of shrink that time. There's so much that is just out of your control.
Yeah.
Right. Between the weather and dealing with municipalities and subcontractor schedules and everything else, as much as you would like to think that you're in control, you're really not. It's a little bit of faith action here, but other than that, it's predictable at certain levels, and you can kind of tend to predict your cost. That kind of thing, especially once you come out of the top of the foundation. The foundational work is what really those kind of unpredictable costs come in, because you don't know how deep do your foundations need to be, or you're going to have problems with the soils, things like that, right? You drag out because of weather more at that stage. But once you're dried in, you pretty well predict the rest of the costs through the project. And I like that. Yeah. So,
well, what else haven't we talked about? What else is good for investors to know about developing?
I think the main thing is just like any other investing model, right? Knowledge is power. And you don't want to just kind of just say, hey, I think I'm going to build myself a house and sell it. Okay. Oh, boy. Okay. A little tricky. A little
risky.
And we are our own general contractor. So I'm a general contractor. One of my business partners is a general contractor. And so we at least have that part in-house. So we don't have to worry about, did I pick a good contractor kind of fears. And we've seen plenty of investors get kind of taken for their money. Right.
Yeah.
And so you just have to be careful with that. It's a total thing.
I've heard a lot of investors who want to develop and they think they can project manage themselves, but really don't know much about it. And they hire the wrong people and they charge them a boatload of money, and then
Yeah.
they're upside down, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever."
Or we just had one the other day. We had a Zoom call the other day of a gentleman who had paid the general contractor. The contractor hadn't paid the bills. And he has a house now that he's trying to sell, and all the subcontractors have liened his property for the amounts that he'd already paid right?
Yeah.
So he basically has to pay the electrical bill twice, right? I don't know
Wow.
if that's the specific one, but he has to pay certain subcontractors twice because he paid the GC for it one time, and now he has to pay them just to be able to sell the house. So you have to really think through, okay, what is my contract with this contractor, like the paper contract? What does that look like? And what are my personal safeguards to make sure that, hey, I don't pay too big of a deposit before I see work done? And then when I do make a payment, what kind of paperwork do I get back from the contractor to prove that he made those payments to the tradesman? Right. So, and that, some of that just takes a little bit of coaching and a little bit of knowledge.
I was going to say, that's when a mentor comes in, which is exactly what we teach.
That's
and
what we
building
do.
your team and building relationships and knowing your contractors.
Yeah.
All of those things are super important.
Super important.
Real estate is a team sport. You cannot do it by yourself.
Just like life. Life's a team sport. And I think that what's fun is, look, if you start by renovating a rental house, right? The rental property is already, the structure's already there, right? So maybe you're gonna tap into a painter, a flooring contractor, maybe an electrician, maybe an HVAC guy, right? Kind of thing. So you're gonna kind of start to crack open this knowledge of tradesmen, how they work, who's good, who's not good. You can kind of start that way. I wouldn't necessarily go, hey, for my first thing that I'm ever going to do in real estate, I'm going to build a 12-unit apartment building. That sounds like a great idea, right? Probably not a great idea. So it's just that kind of crawl, walk, run thing. So that's why a lot of times we teach, hey, start with a flip if you can, because the structure's already there. So much is already there. And so maybe it's a gut and clean out, or clean out, paint, new flooring, new windows kind of thing, right? That's an easy way to kind of get started. And then eventually just kind of walk into that. And certainly buying a single lot is a whole lot less risky than buying raw land.
Yes.
A single lot that's already buildable, you can build it within.
It's already been entitled.
Right zoning, right dimensions, all that kind of stuff, able to be permitted to be built. All that makes sense. And then you just go vertical. So that takes a lot of risk out of it.
How much have you seen lots going for, like in our area, in the Cabarrus County, Rowan, maybe even Mecklenburg, like when people are out there looking for lots to potentially bring to McAllister to build a property, what kind of numbers should they have in their head?
In our product mix, we kind of like that $50,000, $60,000 price point. It's kind of what fits us for what we still have to pay for taps. So, we might spend another $10,000 in water and sewer connections to the city utilities, right?
Got it.
And so those are taps. And so it might cost us $5,000 to $10,000 in addition to that, or it might have to clear it or whatever. So that cost of that lot, by the time it gets ready to build, might be actually taller, But as the house gets bigger and the price point gets taller, you can absorb more cost of the dirt. Right. Or if it's a well and septic lot.
I was going to ask about septic. I feel like a lot of people are scared of septic. They see septic on a listing and they're like, I'll pass.
Well, we've been using septic for how many years now?
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, when was the earth formed? I mean, we've been using some kind of sewer treatment and septic for that. So, look, you just have to get the soils tested. You have to have an engineer come out and test the soils and get a permit to put the septic system in and keep it maintained like anything else, right? You get your septic tank pumped and things maintained just like you would getting an annual HVAC contractor out there to look at your HVAC system.
Yeah.
So no big deal.
Yeah.
Fish gate, well, septic. It's all good.
Cool. Well, awesome. Well, I guess trying to keep it a theme here, but what book are you reading right now? Are you reading a book right now?
Oh my goodness. I usually keep like 3 or 4 going on at any given time.
Okay. What are you reading?
And so, my last book that I just finished was kind of Buy Back Your Time.
Okay.
And so talking about delegation and how to evaluate your time and your use of time and all that. I'll think about who wrote that in a minute. It wasn't Mike Michalowicz, but I love Mike, Motorbike Mike. I love him. The Pumpkin Plan and Profit First and all those. But I'll think about it in a minute. But Buy Back Your Time is a great book, and I've kind of followed that theme back several books. How to delegate, how to evaluate your time and what you're doing and things like that. So
powerful.
Yeah. What about you? What are you reading now?
Well, I just got done reading Miracle Morning.
Yep.
And so now I'm trying to look for my next book. I am thinking about Good to Great.
Good to Great's a good book. Might even be here.
It may be here.
Yeah. It should be.
Getting to Yes is on my list.
Oh yeah, Getting to Yes.
The Great Game of Business.
Yes, it's in here.
On my list. Yeah, so I'm just trying to decide what to read next.
Yeah. The Great Game of Business actually changed how we communicate internally. So when we do our quarterly meetings or whatever and evaluate our metrics, that comes from The Great Game of Business.
Okay.
By the way. So yeah, that'd be a great one for you to listen to and read.
All right. I think you just sold me on that.
There you go. Sold. So
awesome.
Well, I'm glad we were able to talk about this today. It's fantastic.
I know. This is great. So thank you all for listening. Let us know if there's any topics that you want to hear about, any guests you want us to have on the show, and we will bring them on.